Hey everyone, this is Ultra Runner. Welcome back to the channel. Today I just want to take a quick look at the Studio Series 86 Astrotrain, just in comparison to some other figures that Hasbro's released. I kind of cut them all together here like that, but I'm going to separate them out here. And I just wanted to kind of talk to you guys through this a little bit, just because I'm having a little bit of, I guess, realization with some of these releases and just what is on the actual agenda for Hasbro and these releases, and also just kind of get an idea of where you're getting for your money. So if you look here, we're starting here with Voyager Class Hot Rod, and we all know Hot Rod is underscaled as far as for a Voyager, but because he's so complex and that clean, such a absolutely, everybody kept calling him a mini masterpiece, but this is, the fact that this mold is so good that the MPG is pretty much the exact same thing, just upscaled transformation wise. And so for a Voyager, yes, he was little tiny, but complicated transformation and such a clean aesthetic. And then you go to Springer, which Springer is a leader class. So, with it being a triple changer, you kind of expect that. There's a little bit more that it takes to get a triple changer to transform, basically. But this guy was basically a retool of the for Cybertron series version. And I think they did a great job with him. The paint color, the retooling they did, I think was spot on, and he looks really clean. Well, you sit him next to another leader class triple changer, and this is the brand new Astrotrain, and this is a completely new mold, as you guys know. But if you sit those side by side, I would definitely say they look roughly about the same as far as where they would spring from. And what I mean by spring from is, like, if you told me this was a War for Cybertron release, I would believe it, because it looks really about the same generational as far as release as the Springer does here. And this is a leader class, so again, for a leader class, maybe you have to go to that for a triple changer. But if you look at the back of this guy and his legs, it is pretty terrible. And I know there's a lot of YouTubers out there who are saying that, hey man, once you get it in hand, it's way better. It's not as bad as people are making it out to be. But I'm gonna tell you straight up, they are not telling you guys the truth. This thing is pretty terrible in robot mode, and it is no way around it. These legs are spindly, and they're just clad with the rails from the train mode. It's open, it's gappy, the feet are horrible. They don't even connect at the bottom. That's just like a little, that little pin here is designed to just use it to brace against that bottom piece of the plastic there, the gray piece there. It is a pretty terrible figure. And that is from somebody who is, I'm collecting them all. I'm paying for myself. These are not given to me by a big bad toy store or any of these other guys or Hasbro or anything. These are something I pay for my own. And now I've told you guys from the beginning, I am collecting 100% of the SS86 line. And I'll definitely tell you, this was a horrible figure. And the train mode is it saving grace? But the thing is, that shouldn't be the case, because what I'm looking at here is, it's almost like, how did the same team that created this also create this masterpiece? And this Megatron, yes, this is the battle damage Megatron, and I swapped the head and the chest because I like the colors are definitely better on this version here. But look how clean this is. This was a tank. They took this tank and made this thing completely cartoon accurate. I mean, yes, the legs are a little big, but they had to stuff a complete tank inside there. But if you don't care about how thick the legs are, that is insane engineering. Now for a leader class, and he's not really not that big, but at the end of the day, it's still not bad. And Astrotrain does have a little height on him compared to the Siege, which I don't have the Siege version, but I also wasn't really picking a lot of those up because I only picked up a couple things from Siege of Tetrajets, and I think in the Tetrajets and Jetfire. But if you look at these here side by side, and I have Snarl in here just because for the Dinobots. Again, this is the same. These are all the exact same class. So from Springer, which is a retool, which they already got their money out of, which I think that retool is perfect. Or ideal, not perfect. Nothing's ever going to be perfect, but I think pretty stellar. To a brand new Leader Class mode, to a brand new Leader Class mode, to a brand new Leader Class mode. And if you just look at those in comparison, this Astrotrain really kind of sticks out. And I have Ultra Magnus up here. That light piping is really popping right now. It's so cool. And I have Ultra Magnus up here, as you guys know, because he's a Commander Class. And really my idea, and this might sound crazy, but maybe this guy should have been a Commander Class to get him to look clean like this. And because we know the train mode from the War for Cybertron version was okay-ish. The shuttle was not good at all. It was pretty terrible, and if you're saying it's really good, I mean, that's just probably cope, because at the end of the day, the shuttle didn't look like the actual the cartoon shuttle, but the whole thing is like port count and things like that, and complication of transformation. This is a really complicated transformation, and I would definitely say that's a lot of fun because there's a lot of panels, a lot of things you move around. But if it doesn't clean up like this, if you can't get clean legs like that, and this is what you get, then who cares how clean a transformation is or how complicated the transformation is? And I'll definitely say, waist up, he's okay. I mean, he's got a pretty big backpack, but I'm not gonna really kill him over that. That's okay-ish, I guess. And so you can tolerate that piece there. And yeah, there's some things like here that should have been colored and the whole nine, but it is what it is. But this right here, waist down, that's unacceptable, especially for a Leader Class. Like I say, especially when you're given something like this, because if you'd have said, hey, this was a gun, nobody would believe that. And if you said, hey, this was a tank, nobody would believe that. Because this looks like a YOLO Park or a 3-0 figure, because this is so clean, and this is what a Leader Class should look like. And like I say, or what you do is you go this route here, and you go to Ultra Magnus route, and you make it a Commander Class. Now, this is basically, I mean, honestly, this is just a slightly up-tooled and downscale version of that. That's the Takara Masterpiece version. So we all know that's what they did here, which I think was a really good idea. And this Ultra Magnus is incredibly clean. Look at the back. And maybe part of that is, that light piping head there, so you kind of guys get an idea how much light piping they've worked in for that, which is really good. Because even like a little bit here, you can see that coming through just with him barely turning toward the light. But maybe the thing should have been is maybe we needed this guy to get something this nice. Because even the Ultra Magnus, I don't think is perfect. He looked like the Masterpiece version, but the third-party versions are better than him. But from a Hasbro standpoint, I think this is one of the best figures they've created. If you don't, and price concluded. Megatron is definitely right up there too, just because of what you got for the price point. But maybe this guy needed to be $100. I know, like I said, it's probably a crazy take, but maybe they made him $100. They could have found a way to make the shuttle very clean, make the robot very clean, because I know a lot of you guys are going to keep your Transformers outside of the Dinobots. You typically keep them in robot mode. And for me, I'm not keeping this guy in robot mode. He's never in train mode. Matter of fact, I got him out of the box, transformed the train, and I was like, you know what? I really need to talk about this because there's so many people who are now saying that this Astrotrain is good, and I don't think that's in good faith. I mean, maybe you're okay with it because you're like, hey, this guy it's all we got, and there's something we can do about it. That's one thing. But to say he's good and this is great execution, this is barely acceptable execution as far as a robot is concerned. That, like I say, for a leader class, that is pretty terrible. Like I say, let's look at him, compare it to Springer. Like from the side, backpack wise, way bigger backpack. Legs are roughly the same, but look how a lot of Springer's legs are all folded and compacted, which is what we see now in a lot of the new Transformers. I mean, look at Megatron. Same idea. Everything is compacted into the legs, folded, no gaps, just super clean to give you the good robot profile. And like I say, let's go back to the first one. This is the first guy we got from that line, and look how clean he looks. Could that have been a little cleaner? I don't think so. You know, especially for the price point. You know, but this is a great piece here. So we know we couldn't do it in a Voyager class. They couldn't get a triple change in a Voyager class. That's basically 3 robots. We know we couldn't. Apparently, we couldn't get in a Leader class. So maybe this guy needed to be a Commander class. You know, still the same height, or maybe even a little bit taller, because I don't think he should be that much shorter than Megatron. But maybe he's a little bit taller, and all this weirdness here with the panels, with the legs, the chest, the fact that this is unpainted plastic. I mean, that's just insane. The fact that they couldn't spend the money on that. Yeah, it came with a blast effects, but you know, who cares about that? This huge backpack, and just so you can have this little ramp part fold down, which is kind of useless because nothing goes. It didn't come in any minifigs or micro figs, so it'd have been cool if they came with like a couple of really tiny little Decepticons to show like he's going in the back of the train or whatever. But no, it's execution for the sake of execution. And you know, it's funny. It made me think about gaming, because a lot of times, especially if you play gacha games, you'll see a development of a character, and then around the big events like the holidays and stuff like that, Golden Week, things like that, you'll see Chinese New Year, you'll see the character development be super great, and then right after that you'll see some pretty terrible releases. And a lot of times, you know, gamers will say, oh, it's the A team did this, and then the B team did this one, and then you have sometimes even the C team, because some of the in-game characters are so bad. And to me, this seemed like an 18 release. Definitely an 18 release. Definitely an 18 release. This is probably a C team release. This is probably a B team release, and this was an 18 release. They had to come out the box swinging with an SS86. We know that. So Hot Rod was really like a top shelf creation. But for Springer, no. This was definitely, since it was a retool, I think they did a great job of retooling, and that team did a great job of, like I said, if there is a team for it, a separate team, did a great job of retooling this guy. This year was essentially, I have no idea what's going on, because you can't really use this mold for anything else either. So for them to do it and execute it this badly, maybe we'll get a retool later on and they'll fix a lot of this stuff. But and then you have the 18 that created Megatron, and you have an 18 that created, you know, I think I said Snarl, but Slag. And then you've got Ultra Magnus, which is again, which is basically just like a downsize of the Masterpiece version. But at the end of the day, I think what we're seeing here is this is not what we need to see going forward from those guys. And maybe he'll go on discount later, and if you pick him up for $30, this is good. And like, if this is a $30 release right out the box, this is a good release for $30. For $70, no, definitely not. This is pretty terrible. And like I say, this is from somebody who's collecting them all, so it's not like I'm showing bias or anything like that to older units. I don't have any of the older. I don't have another Springer. I have another Hot Rod. Well, I guess other than the pink one they just released. You know, this is my first Astrotrain since the actual vintage toy days. My first Megatron. I think my first Megatron ever, because I've never owned Megatron. Had all the Dinobots. And of course I have multiple reverse Ultra Magnus. I just got the, I think I showed you guys yesterday, but I just got in the Missing Link. So So I'll probably do a little, maybe short on him or something like that. But yeah, just wanted to kind of walk through you guys. Just, let me know your comments down below what you guys are thinking about this. If this is something that you are concerned about, have you even thought about like comparing it to other leader class? Because I haven't seen anybody do this. So it's just talking about them comparing to the other Astrotrain. But I'm just looking at what we've gotten from a Voyager to these leaders, even to Commander class, and how this does not seem like this was them on their top of their game, and this is really this is not good. And no matter what anybody says, this is definitely not a good release. This does not look like this is a 2026 release. So let me know your guys' comments down below. Thanks for hanging out. Later.